This may be the most fun team I've ever played with in Star Rail. At first glance, you're going to see that there's 3 DPSs and 1 Harmony unit, but for some reason, the survivability of this team and damage output is just crazy. There's 3 particular synergies that I'm going to pinpoint before we get into the run, and the first one comes down to the new March 7th. Her hunt path allows her to do an insane amount of toughness with her ult because it's only 110 energy, has 90 toughness, and then her enhanced basic will push her up 100%, giving her a pretty good amount of actions, an insane amount of toughness overall, and I never even mentioned that she's going to give speed, break effect, and crit damage to whoever we want. Yunli and Boothill both benefit from this, and you can actually go either way and both work wonderfully. The second synergy is the fact that Boothill is inevitably a slower ramp-up time character. He needs a couple of turns to break characters, kill characters, or enemies rather, to get his stacks so he can do his maximum damage. Yunli is going to be able to send out these maximum damage counters right off the bat, kind of evening out the damage output, allowing some time for Boothill to ramp up, so once the second wave hits, he's going to be at 3 stacks and he can just one-shot whoever is standing in his way. The third synergy is, since we've got no sustain, Yunli being able to direct all of the single target and blast attacks right to her and then heal all that damage back up with her skill makes it so we can actually mitigate a lot of the overall damage and keep the rest of the team safe, which is a little bit harder considering that we've got 2 hunt characters who don't have too much HP or defense, although Tank Hill is a great option. Anyways, let's get right into the run. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's see Boothill, March 7th, and Yunli in action. So to start off, we're going to use all of our techniques, and I've got to say, Yunli's is one of my favorites. There's something about starting the fight with this massive Gargantua Punisher that is just extremely satisfying, especially in slow-mo. Now, here we're going to go ahead and designate Boothill as the Shifu, giving him enough speed to go 3 times in this turn, or wave, without being on the win set, which is pretty crazy, although very tough to do because he does need to be at 167 speed base without his light cone. Now, here we're going to go ahead and break that enemy thanks to all the toughness that we got from March 7th. How crazy is that? Perfect. We already got 1 stack of the follow-up from the Duran. We're actually at 3 already. So here we can go ahead and trigger the attack, causing us to do a full counter in their face, and then we can go ahead and attack, make sure we get hit. We do need that extra 10 energy to trigger the follow-up and the ult at the beginning of the next wave. Here, this is going to go ahead and give March a free turn, and ideally we can kill. That extra 10 energy is what's going to allow us to push March 7th before Boothill, allowing Boothill to break first in the second wave. Perfect. Time for a second parry, and a wonderful. So that is kind of the idea. We are able to deal a very good amount of damage, and then now Boothill is at 3 stacks after this kill. Perfect. The follow-up from March will trigger, giving her enough energy for the ult, so the Ranmei Light Cone didn't even affect that. And pretty good amount of toughness there. We've got the ult from Boothill, meaning that this should be an instant break. Let's check our break effect. We're at 320%, and this is on the Quantum set. So let's see what this is looking like. 14% left. Amazing. The bleed should be enough to kill him. So Yunli, go ahead and toss your sword. That does nothing. But now into the second phase, and we can go ahead and skill. Get a half of the toughness bar out of the way. And March will be getting more energy from either the hit or the follow-up regardless. Now, hopefully this hits Yunli. If that hit Yunli, it would have triggered the follow-up and broken his shield, allowing us to Intuit Cull his second hit. However, RNG didn't work out in our favor, unfortunately, so we're going to have to settle for a slash instead. 1 basic here. We do want to make sure not to deal too much toughness, just to make sure that we break with Boothill, and I was a little bit unsure as to the toughness of the slash So we'll just go ahead and basic just to be safe. The slash comes out, and now we're in range for break. It looks like it would have been close. I think we could have skilled and it still would have stayed, but 4%, we've got 2 ults left. March 7th, you may have the honor. Okay, never mind. Boot Hill, you get to steal the spotlight. A bang. For the builds, Boot Hill's speed was incredibly important, but the fact that Shifu can give 10%, Ron May can give 10%, and his Light Cone can give 12% make it so if we put him to about 167, we can actually hit a pseudo 200 speed in battle, allowing him to go 3 times per wave, and this is without the wind set. With the wind set brings down the speed requirements much lower, but if you want that extra damage with the Death Shred from either the Quantum set or from the Cavalry set, the fact that you can get the speed from March and Ron May, also, if you put in like a Dance user as well, it's going to bring down those thresholds even further. Now, for the break effect that we were able to achieve with 170 speed, it was 225, not terrible. That is also on the Forge, so we don't get that shown in battle. The Forge is very good, not just for Firefly. I mean, considering we do need to go against fire weak enemies, but the 6% speed is just so helpful on characters that either do not want Von Whack, so supports, or for break DPSs, obviously like Boot Hill, Gallagher, or Firefly. Now, for the rest of the build here, we had E0 Boot Hill. I really regret not getting his E1. March was on the Wind and Von Whack set. Now, this is what I particularly like so far. I have been testing the more pure damage builds, but I think that going for the energy regen for the more actions is just very good. Now, this is a hybrid crit build, so her speed is not good at all, 133, but considering that we still get the action advance in the first wave from Von Whack and from the Wind set, gives her a ton of actions and also makes it so her 110 energy ult is just triggering rapidly. Now, after this, we've got E2, so the E3 is also going to boost the speed and her basic attack damage even more, very nice. Ron May was a little bit faster in this run because she had to be. I needed that extra action because we don't have a Dance user in the team. No other Harmony characters. Yun Li was on the Valorous set, and the problem was also on the energy no, never mind, not on the energy regen. I was playing around with the energy regen, but she was on the speed boots to go twice, which did bring her damage down just slightly. However, I found that it still worked out really well, and she was hitting these really big counters. Like, her damage output only being buffed from an E1 S1 Ron May is incredibly good, because we didn't even give the crit damage from March to Yun Li, which we could have as well. However, that's all we got for this video. Put into the comments any future suggestions, any future ideas, how we could make these videos better. I am open to any suggestions. Thanks for watching once again. Join the Discord, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.